turn into?
What was it? Echo?
Echo.
Yeah.
Here, let me. Okay, so should I just put this into general with this?
If you look where we are now, there's a coaching chat area. You can just drop it in there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You can see my post that I made where I pinged Thunder and he never responded.
Big sad.
I have to make an account, dude.
Do
You
you?
haven't made a Q.GG account before? We've used it
No.
before.
I didn't
We
think it
have
would make you
not.
make an account. It's a.
He wasn't
public
there.
room.
You just
look,
connect with.
I already
Blizzard,
fixed
right?
it. Cool. It's
Also,
already done.
Q.GG, there's an issue with it. If once everyone has to connect before you try and figure
There-
out what timestamp we need to be,
That's my
Because it
because it'll
resets
reset
them.
everyone to the beginning.
Trust me. I know. I know. I get
Syncing the video.
super. So like I don't know if you get that bathwater guy contacted you guys like he did us, but like he's
Yeah,
like
same.
yeah, okay, yeah. So then yeah, he's been contacting literally everybody and talking to him about Q.GG, and I was just like, there are a lot of problems with your platform, dude.
Yeah, I brought that up. I was also in contact with Visor, with their head dev. I was talking with them, and I was just basically trying to get him to explain why they would cancel that. And I just like spelling out for him, like, you're literally retarded with the career path that you're going down, because you have a monopoly. You are the only currently viable screen sharing method that synchronizes videos, allows audio, and allows in onboard writing utensil.
Yeah.
You have a monopoly on this, and you're just scrapping it so you can make something that people might use.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, this is what we want to do. Sorry. I'm like, all right, fuck you. Okay.
How do I join the Revelry team?
Pardon?
How do
What?
I join?
Click the link.
In
I
the
did it.
coaching chat, it should take you right to it.
I got it.
Okay.
As soon as you log in, it'll take you to it. Yeah.
I like that.
So
I'm
is
the
it
only
doing a
one with
thing
the
like you
profile
can't
picture.
skip ahead anymore?
I'm waiting right now for everybody to load in.
Oh,
Because
okay.
when he hits play, it'll probably go back to the beginning.
Ah,
Might not.
So who are we?
We have
Me.
Okay.
Mimic, and then another one of us will be joining here in a minute.
Okay.
But I don't know how long until they
V8.
join. They're in the middle of a comp game.
What
Yeah,
about
V8.
Captain, dude. Where's Captain?
Hey, well, Basti
Captain
said
is
she's
over
not
at his
beating-
girlfriend's.
Well, Basti said she's not going to beat her child.
good to know.
I told her to kick her dog.
She just got him.
I
Why?
said punch your pup.
Why?
Punch your pup. I don't know.
Hey, my new account is called Amazing One.
Night Ops just 4-0'd their first match of the season, so
Nice.
Good for them. Am I louder now?
no louder than normal.
Wait, season of what?
Pretenders.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It was a pretty disgusting shutout too. They weren't playing like one of the like better teams by any means, but it was a pretty disgusting shutout.
Weird flex.
But
Okay.
Such a genuine, like, oh, okay.
Dude, I love
Mimic,
the
you
kinds of
joining?
games- I love the
I was-
games where
Here,
you
brother.
have one person says one word, and then it just goes back and forth, and they make a sentence.
oh,
You
I
know,
suck at
bro.
that.
Mimic, is it working for you or no?
It says I'm in, but it didn't say I was in, so I'm rejoining. Okay, now I'm in.
You know, Felius and I, we're so tight. We can finish
Weird.
each other's.
Sandwiches.
Hell yeah.
That's
That's
what I
still,
was gonna say.
Bro,
That's
you
still- that is still gay.
Hey
That
man,
is-
look. You gotta. If your homie can't finish his
Yeah.
roast beef, like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, dude.
We could probably start if Mimic says
Shut
he's
the
here.
fuck up.
I'm here.
V will join us whenever he's done with his game.
Okay. So first off, I'd like to get a sense of what you guys are working on, so I know sort of what I should be looking for. And so I'd like just in a short summary, what are some of the problems you guys have been having lately?
I really think the main issues there's been a lot of like fighting in comms about when we make a plan and then we don't stick to that plan, or we all have like different ideas of what to do. So the main thing that we need to work on as a team is one person's making a plan. That's why that leadership video would be really nice. One person's making a plan, and then we stick to that.
Me.
I'm really trying to be more passive in comms instead of causing that fighting.
Uh-huh.
And Weasley is no longer on off tank. He's on DPS now, which was his choice. And I think
Mad
that
tryouts.
yeah, so I that's not going to be as much of an issue anymore. Mainly, it's just going to be kind of our comm structure. We fall apart a lot very easily.
Okay.
So discipline when it comes to comms, and then probably just positioning, individual positioning, would be things that we need to work on as a whole.
Okay, so a lot of that I think can be solved by consolidating your calling. So like the thing that we do with desync, and this is sort of like an approach that you guys may want to take, you may not want to take. I came into desync and they kind of like they told me and I gained the sense that they had like a super decentralized structure, and it sounds like sort of like that's kind of what you guys are rolling with. Now, that's sometimes nice because it allows for kind of seamless cooperation, like kind of everybody kind of knows each other's playstyle and is, playing optimally, and it takes less of a pre-fight to kind of make plays happen. But the downside of that is that as soon as somebody gets confused or disoriented, the whole thing completely fucking falls apart. The other thing is that there's no real responsibility. And so generally things will tend to happen to the team without any real defensive strategy figured out. Because a lot of times to play around sort of what an enemy is going to be throwing at you, you need to sort of deal with that with positioning or with like heavy coordination. And so like if you're all kind of figuring out the best way to deal with it yourselves, you're gonna come to a suboptimal solution most of the time. So the solution that we arrived at and that I sort of figured would be best for desync, and you guys may decide ultimately is best for you guys, is to kind of have the main fight planning being done by one person. And so that person calls comps, they call swaps, they call in general sort of pre-fight stuff. They kind of help the script keep going. And by script, I mean sort of uh, you kind of list their ults, you list your ults, and then the basically your shot caller, your primary shot caller is going to be thinking, okay, well then what do we do? Where do we push here? How do we deal with what they have? How do we use our ults? How does this fight unwind? And then the rest, all of the other comms, like we have our main tank target calling, we have someone else tracking ults, and then we sometimes have people pacing the fight as well, and those are all different people. And the goal there is that each one of those people is responsible for that one thing, and everyone else is just supporting that decision with their information. So it's like, like let's say your shot caller calls a comp that doesn't quite make sense to you, you might want to talk to them about that and say, like, well, they have such and such, they have double hit scan or triple hit scan. I don't really know. Like, what do you think Farah brings to the table other than something else? And then you can resolve it. But the issue is that bottom line, the decisions rest with one person. And so you can hold them responsible for the choices that are made in VOD review rather than say, oh, well, these two people disagreed and then not really come down anywhere with any real conclusion. So that's just the little bit I'll say about that. Okay.
I feel like we have tried. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
I feel like we have tried setting something like that up, but I feel like we put too much on one person.
It is a lot of work. And like sort of that is it's a super centralized approach. So I think that it does place a large burden, but yeah, I have a video where I talk about it because like my current shot caller is also very overwhelmed right now. But it's just something that takes time, and it just takes constant coaching. Because you just have to develop super, super strong game sense, and you have to kind of have a big picture idea of what's going on.
And that constant coaching is something that we lack currently, so
Right.
it's going to take a lot of extra effort on our part.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't make it impossible; it just makes it harder, and we just have to work harder for it.
Yeah. I think really one of the best things that I can recommend is that if you guys do go in this direction, the person who I would have doing it should be watching a lot of organized play just to see sort of how compositions work, how teams react to stuff, and sort of just get an idea for what organized play looks like from the third person.
That me.
Okay, so we're starting on Ilios.
I believe so. I think that's where we started.
Okay.
Oh,
was
we just jumped like
4v4.
4 minutes ahead.
Yeah.
This map was super scuffed.
Because we're gonna have our DPS player go back to.
So right now, Jaharo and Stricken are tryouts. Stricken is no longer a tryout though. He one night standed us.
Who's stricken here?
Stricken is not
Jaharo.
not in on this map.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
I
He
think,
will be
I
on the
think a
next
lot
map
of
if we
it, I
get to
just
that one, though.
spectate who we were trying out, so like a lot of it I was just watching Jahara's perspective.
Okay.
Captain.
We can still get it.
Swap the third person. I didn't really expect you to use my VOD for this. Really well on sorry.
No, it's I wasn't recording myself. I wasn't thinking of reviewing this one, but I figured the most recent would be the better one to do.
Okay, so we're going goats.
I just wish this map didn't exist.
Why?
Wait, I'm actually playing.
I love
this
you,
map.
Leos.
I'm
I forgot to
offended.
play this map.
Okay, so right off the bat, the thing that I always tell my shot caller here is like right now at this point, you need to be thinking about where this comp needs to go, what you're trying to push, and how you're going to win the first fight. Because there's no room for hesitation on goats. You literally just need to smash into them. And so you need to be thinking about like, okay, what if they run counter goats? What's that going to look like? What if they just run Libmur? What do we do then? And those are really the two breakdowns. Like in the current meta, that's usually what it breaks down to. It's like either they run some kind of classic dive here, they run goats, or they run some sort of like wonky ass triple DPS. But that's less effective, I think. So it's less likely.
I also said hyperdash once when I was on a team because we didn't have any ults. And we were just like, okay, just hyperdash. it.
No
What is it?
sound.
You guys look like you're running
I've never heard
a
this
7
done either.
right now.
For him.
Oh, there it is. What the heck?
Yeah, you should have your own volume control.
It was on the highest, but
Yeah,
it's
for some reason you need to
dude,
like change it
I
to.
hacked them.
Yeah.
It starts off muted without indicating that it's muted.
yeah.
Okay, follow me, Lewin. I'm pinning for some reason.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm gonna be looking to see how you guys like separate their Rhine if you're running into a ghost matchup. Okay, so we're going into cage here. All right, let's see what you guys do.
I got a D.Va on high ground. Okay. Fully Aphelios.
Okay, so if they're running, okay, so first of all, it looks like they're running probably Pharah as well if I see the Mercy up here. But with
believe.
Winston, the thing you want to be looking as Zarya to bubble is probably your Zen, because that's the best target here. And so like that's the thing. If they're running dive goats or any equivalent to that, you need to be shutting him down consistently, and that requires shield bash, that requires bubbles, that requires saving your armor pack, all of those things for the primary target, because they're just going to apply enough pressure in there, and if they pick your Zen, then they're just slowly going to whittle you down. The other thing to keep in mind here is that if they're running pharmacy, you guys are on a timer, and so you need to be ending these fights extremely quickly.
I'm on the monkey.
Okay, yeah, so your Zen goes down.
Monkey sweet.
Okay, so someone else is low, someone else was like 1 HP over here, and we missed a bubble on them.
Yeah, I kind of just bubble Ryan the whole time, but I don't know.
Oh, is the D.Va mech? Or D.Va mech or your Brave? I'm not sure which. Okay, this fight's pretty much over.
I'm getting body blocked.
You should probably just be... Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're farming
D.Va
for grab chars,
solo.
that's fine, but...
Want to at least D-Mecker? I had decent.
And you...
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you didn't get the D-suit, unfortunately. That's
Wait, what
unlucky. Okay. Okay, so now this composition is going to be really hard to retake with. Just because once they establish... Sorry?
He swaps to Sombra.
Who does?
Weasley.
No.
Jaharo does.
Eventually.
Okay,
that
okay.
way?
Oh yeah, Jahar does. Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. I don't know if Sombra really makes this a lot better for you guys. I think so. The like Sombra goats, I think, is like a decent counter for like regular goats.
Yeah,
but
I think just Winston Goats is probably the best here.
I think Winston Goats is good. I also think that like you guys are kind of fine with what you have. Like it's okay. as long as you just force the fight early enough before the enemy team builds up barrage or EMP. I mean, that's really what you guys need to be worrying about here. And so you just need to like, chances are you're going to be forcing the fight to point. Like that's the thing you guys need to realize. Like you guys need to take the fight to them as quickly as possible. Goats is a comp that likes to fight on point, and so you need, sort of the big picture here is that's where the fight's going to happen. And who's always contesting point on their comp? Who contests point?
The Diva.
Sombra Diva.
Tanks,
Diva.
yeah, I guess normally Diva.
Diva. So your goal is probably going to be to hard focus the Diva and desuit her and then just try and snowball the fight from there. That's likely going to be your win condition. But the most important thing is finding a route onto the point that keeps you guys from getting booped. And like I said, ending the fight early. So the issue here with switching to Sombra, well, why don't you guys tell me? So like, what do you see a drawback of switching to Sombra? So it's like you gain a little bit of flexibility. You can hack targets that jump in on you. You can maybe bring the fair out of the sky with Sombra. So there are some clear advantages. And also having EMP is always sort of a win condition, which is nice. But what do you give up with that?
Well, Diva, you give up the combo. Well, I guess you can like get some combos with EMP as well, like EMP Shatter, but you lose the Grav Bomb, you lose Matrix, which counters with Pharah pretty well.
Yeah. And I think that's really the most important thing here, that having the Matrix not just to counter the heavy damage that's going to be steadily coming from Pharah, but just to, I mean, you literally can counter her barrage with the ability. So there's that advantage.
What are we doing?
Someone. One of you, Sombra.
Okay, cool. Oh, got her on the flex. I feel super bad making him play Sombra on his first map of tryouts.
I mean, if you guys are running Sombra a lot from your off tank, like, I think it's fair to. Okay, so they already had it.
Real quick, why are you? Okay, we're up here, right? The Brig and the Zarya were up on the high ground. I imagine to touch the Pharah, like to try and zone her out a little bit.
It's like a thing that we've been seeing more from high level Zarya play and goats is to off angle. So I think the Zarya taking the high ground like this is probably fine, especially against dive, because it's like you don't really have to worry about that like frontline linear pressure from a Reinhardt, and so like you're kind of just looking to apply pressure onto anything that you can, and Zarya kind of gets the opportunity to do that from the high ground.
The only issue I had was that I didn't know that we were going high ground.
But the Zarya can go high ground. The Zarya can go high ground, and you guys can go low ground. That's totally fine.
See,
Sure,
I
but
was
they're-
high ground, Felius. We if you back it up a little bit, we did call high ground, and we called it like once or twice, and then we backed up, got distracted by something, and then went low ground.
Okay, so
And I went high ground, and saw their Diva and completely tunnel visioned on it.
We can go high ground. We can go high ground.
I think.
Right
okay,
here.
I heard the high ground call.
We can go high ground. We can go high ground.
Yeah.
Oops.
Did
I
I?
just forgot there were stairs. Oh, I did.
Yeah,
Stairs.
you started comp.
I made a
Okay,
dumb
so-
comment about stairs.
Everyone's there except your
Sombra.
Ryan.
I think
Right?
Ryan's behind, but then
He's
below
like,
you.
you like fall off.
I think
They
he
get-
okay. He drops. He
drops.
drops.
Because of
Yeah,
the
they get
barrage.
knocked off or booped off or fall
He's
off.
just taking
something.
cover, yeah, from the bridge, or with
Yeah.
the bridge, which is smart.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm guessing your Diva caught a lot of that, which is why you didn't get destroyed.
No, it was.
Oh, no,
You
you
don't
didn't
have
get
Diva at this
Sombra.
point.
Right. Okay, so yeah, you lose Ryan. Yeah, without your Ryan, this is kind of a dead push anyways.
have,
You should just be dying here.
Grab.
They have primal rage.
And the other thing is, like, if you are basically at like 85% ult charge with Grav, you can kind of
Yeah,
just
you basically
die
just get it from
the next fight.
passive.
Yeah, the next push. So don't worry too much about bubbling yourself, because the stagger is more hurtful than not having the full ult charge there.
Yeah, they have tank ults. Do they have EMP or do they just use it?
They probably have. I'd say
Yeah.
80 to have.
Okay, so what I'm hearing here is a list of the ults that they have, which is really good, but there's no real idea of how we resolve dealing with the EMP. And that's a problem to me, because right now you guys are just going to walk in and hope and you're like, okay, they're gonna use this on us. I hope it works out okay. Like that's why you need a person who's responsible for this because you need someone who in the back of their mind is like, I can't, like that's not acceptable to just be walking into this. You need to at least have some counterplay here. Like, do you just take indoor pathing, like taking right side in the one of the corridors and just going onto point so that they, they either EMP us there or directly on point, and the Pharah gets less value. Like that's the kind of stuff that's one option. But the most important thing is that you guys just have something. You just need some response to this, even if you don't have an ult to be dropping.
I really think we just drop this. Do we have ults?
Wait, one more. No, we can just go main.
Go mid. Go, go right side.
Oh, right side.
Okay, so you're taking right side. That's good.
Be careful of boobs, yeah.
Alright.
And EMP probably happens right about here.
I'm on the diva.
Ah.
Yeah,
You're lucky that Diva didn't matrix the grab.
If she's actually
may or may not have. The grab got no value anyway. It was just kind of a meme that Pharah was AFK. I don't know what I was doing
DC'd, yeah.
Can you just pause it for her? If she's actually
may or may not have. I think when I press tab.
There's a monkey.
Yeah, get the monkey.
Okay.
Get this monkey on your side.
I'm on him.
Okay, so we have people like you guys are kind of disjointed here. We've got like kind of like 2 people on point. We've got people backing up at the same time. To me, this is a little bit problematic just because it suggests that you guys are not super clear on whether you're disengaging or engaging. And Goats is a composition that needs to do all of those things together, or one of those things together. So if you guys are pushing to point, you need to push to point. If you're backing off, you need to all back off. But none of you get value on your own. Except maybe high charge Zarya.
Monkey very weak.
Okay, so you're pushing back out.
Pharah's like right above the exit.
Versus one. Versus dead.
Nice. Where'd the Pharah go? Is he right above us?
Wait longer before you use your bubbles here.
No.
You need to, so the way you should be using projected barrier is you should be waiting for a clear commitment of damage and not preemptively try to block something unless it's something that can one-shot. And even then it's a low value cooldown usage that sometimes gets punished anyways.
Sorry for making you immediately play Sombra, but I don't
and
think
yeah,
it's
just
anything
spam right clicks here. Sorry, I'm like a Zarya is one of my favorite heroes, so I'm gonna try to make this not a Zarya VOD.
They're probably gonna EMP barrage or bomb, yeah.
Okay, so we have some idea. I mean, really what you guys need. So first of all, and this is something that should be happening regardless of what you guys decide to do shot calling wise, you need someone who's keeping track of the ults. And that doesn't necessarily have to be someone who has perfect knowledge of every ult that they have, but literally someone who just starts with a baseline estimate and is like, what else do we think they have? I don't know how much damage their Pharah was doing. How close do we think they are to barrage? Just so at the end of the day, before this fight happens, you can say they have X, Y, and Z ults, and that's what our team should expect them to roll into this fight with. Like, that needs to happen. So someone needs to be assigned that.
We're kind of split up right now. Let's just regroup.
Yeah, I'm on point.
EMP?
I can't. Nice beat. I'm coming back up.
I can shield this here.
That was a nice play by you guys. You kind of all got indoors, and it was kind of like what I was talking about, right? That was like one of the options. You sort of play on point and just force the fight there. Goats does really well there, and Pharah doesn't get a whole ton of value. That's like the hardest thing about running their composition. If they lose one of the pushes, retaking with Pharah is super difficult because the other team can just fight on point. And so that's like, if you're thinking sort of like what your main shot caller should be trying to think about in terms of how to play this, that's something that you should be logging into your mind. Like, okay, that's how this composition does well against spammy comps or against Pharah comps on this map. Bubble probably not worth it there.
Lucio? Yeah, I didn't need to use Mercy.
It's okay, just because you're trying to get.
Energy, so I mean,
you're farming charge and you're getting closer to grab, which is good. Just make sure that you're not going to need it.
Except what? Did they? Didn't they use Valk as well? Yeah.
Okay, what's up? We just live. Just try and live.
Okay, so you're reloading too much as well.
Yeah.
Right clicked and then reload. So general tip, just make sure you're getting, if they're far distance, make sure you get the 4 shots before you reload, and always make sure you right click at the end of a magazine before you reload.
I'm
Preemptive bubble there, that's too early.
okay. One monkey. Backing up.
Also, you're bubbling yourself too early. Because
Yeah.
you're behind your Reinhardt, there's no real damage
I'm
coming
just
into you.
kind of like on autopilot this whole like scrim.
So this composition, something you guys need to be concerned about is the fact that it's trying to focus damage. I know that they have a Pharah that does spam damage, but what you're really worried about is that their Pharah creates opportunities, right? So by dealing even damage to everyone on your team, they get everybody, you know, like let's say the Pharah does 150 damage to everybody, chances are the best target then becomes your Zenyatta. So you just need to be identifying the pressure points to your composition and play around that. You should be looking to protect that because that's really the only weakness of your composition. Like they farm ults on you guys and then they just, you know, like out pressure you. But really what you're worried about is just losing somebody because they're kind of a dive comp still.
Backing up. Monkey is weak on the left.
Nice, you got a pick.
Okay, I'm shooting.
And I like that. I honestly like you guys are playing on point. You're not super confident that you're. I mean, I personally would have pushed out. So when they're running a Mercy, and especially the fact that you guys gave her space, what's gonna happen? Like when someone dies in a Mercy comp, especially when
Just
you
gonna
guys
get
are.
res unless you're pressuring the corpse.
Yeah, so she's gonna get res. And that gives you guys opportunities to just destroy everything else because they have like no healing now. And even still, Mercy's not a lot of healing to begin with. Like your composition out heals them. Their composition out damages yours, but if it's a ground fight, you guys are going to win that because your collective damage is going to out pressure whatever they have because they don't have enough sustain. Mercy being taken out of that for them means they basically have nothing. So you guys should see a kill in a Mercy comp as an opportunity to look for pressure. Like that's what Ghost does. You guys need to be looking, who do we jump? You should always be looking, who can we jump here? Who can we just like run on and gangbang?
I got hacked, I can't believe. Monkey.
So as soon as you saw that Mercy Guardian Angel over to the body, either A, you should have been on her or on someone else.
I grabbed the...
I think the Coalescence might have been a little bit of an overcommitment.
Oh wait, no I didn't. I'm on D.
It's an airstrafe.
Decent tracking.
It was last fight.
He's dead?
We grabbed the monkey, and I wanted to make sure we killed him before the grav ended, and so I threw a healing orb onto point, and I coalesced because it was last fight.
The thing I'm worried about is that the Pharah sees you coalescing and just focuses you down. Because she dies last in this fight, she's still alive somewhere.
Foot is Pharah, forehead.
And so, like, if you know you're safe, I think that's an option. I think it's an option, but you open yourself to a lot of vulnerabilities when you lose your Fade like that.
I watched her use Conk like 2 seconds before the grav, so I knew there was.
Okay, I still think it's a risk.
Yeah.
Lucio coming point. Wait, Lucio one.
I'm gonna kill Lucio, dude.
He's slow, he's very low. You tried it, please.
Okay.
I'm on monkey. Is that? I'm on Diva.
And you guys are just nice. Oh my god.
Oh, they're all solo.
Okay, so let's see what else happens here.
What are we dying to?
If he hadn't beat it, that would have been the highlight of the century, Weasley.
Oh yeah, for sure. Monkey. Also, I got booped and I screwed up that second right click because of it.
Okay, so I don't know where everybody is here. That's part of the issue. I don't see like I see Zarya on point.
We don't really have like clear pathing on this map. We just know to get the point, and then once we're on point, I guess we're not good at like sticking to it or sticking together. Just in general.
Yeah, and so this is where target calling comes in. So I said, you know, someone needs to be in charge of what ultimates they have. Someone else should be the bottom, like the buck stops at them. They make the final say. If you don't like the target they're calling, then you guys talk about it after the game. But you need one person who can tell people what to do and have that authority. Because like your comp needs to focus fire, and I don't see it. So Lucio's here. Someone is here. I can't tell. Your Rhine, I
Who?
think, is
Where?
probably behind over there.
Well, I'm on my way back from spawn on the right.
Can you draw with red? It's the purple's really light right now. I can't see it that well.
There. And I think someone's over here. You said someone's coming back from spawn.
Yeah,
I'm on the far right.
Ryan is to the left over there, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's your Rhine, that's your Lucio.
I'm on the right, not on the left. Like I'm in the
Oh.
hallway in our spawn on the right side of the point
How did you get over there?
because I died, and I'm on my way back from our spawn.
Okay.
What? No, you're
No,
literally right
your
there
Rhine
to
is
the left.
right. You were right here.
When is this?
Back it up like 5
it's
seconds.
Yeah,
before the
that's-
grav.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I can't see, man.
I'm with the Rhine and Zarya.
Okay. So it's
Where?
the three of you.
I have absolutely no clue where I am. I might be the one coming back from spawn.
And you're Brig, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so you guys are kind of like you've got okay, so yeah, so Brig is here, Lucio is here, and then the three of you are here. So
Who's missing? Sombra?
yeah, I think so. Okay, so
Probably translocated to get a health pack.
yeah, okay, so these guys, you guys are
Terrible positioning.
not super in position, but what I'd really like to see is the team just fighting on point. So really, I'd like to see everyone fighting where you guys are. But what the most important thing is just that you guys are all playing together. Okay, so we get 2 kills from the grab. There's still someone over here. There, and there. Okay, so how is this not a... Okay, so you've got... That was the Lucio, Mercy, and Farah here. Or no, it wasn't the Lucio. Lucio's dead.
Sombra.
Oh wait,
The
no.
reason we
Sombra.
lost this
I'm on
was
Diva.
because the Mercy got like the value res she needed to with the Pharah who had ultimate from behind. And that's a really big swing play there.
Yeah, that's why I was saying like the coalescence play was risky because you know that they still have barrage, and so like saving it to like just fade off point and coalesce into that is another option because you guys aren't running Diva, right? And that's like the big issue here. Like that's why you guys need someone keeping track of the ults, because you need to know end of the day we need to end this fight before barrage comes out, otherwise we're probably going to lose. Yeah, okay, so you guys are still fragging though.
Yeah, it's because we won this fight. There were 2 alive at the end of it, and then the Mercy res the Farah.
But there's like 2 people and then like 2 more come back from spawn. Because
The
the Lucio's
Farah
coming
kills
back?
enough of us that when the tanks get back,
Yeah, so
they
Lucio's
stall
back.
it out.
So Mercy
Stalls a bit
Valks.
here, he jukes me. Yeah, the Mercy Valked to my left, and then reses the Farah behind the point.
I think this is just a focus fire issue primarily.
Yeah.
That and not keeping track of their ultimates, because it's like if you know Lucio's coming with beat and he's on point by himself, that's like a free team fight.
Point. Ooh, the EMP almost hit him too. Or was that that was the enemy?
Yeah, so we lose 2. They're basically back at full strength at this point. Yeah, okay, so now we're down in the fight.
2 kills from Barrage.
How would you guys lose?
I'm on Monkey. Is that I'm on Diva? There's 2 kills from Barrage.
I don't like this grav.
Yeah, I think I just wasn't paying enough attention to the kill.
They used beat for some reason, so...
I mean, it was probably last fight anyway.
It becomes last fight here, because now you guys are
Nice,
1
nice.
down.
Just like stabilize for a second. You have a. Nice.
Now you're 1 down, because they lost their Farah, but you lose Brig.
Damn.
And you're down Zarya still.
3 seconds. 3 seconds. 3 seconds.
Oh, stop, stop,
Huge.
big.
They have no EMP.
Follow you, Dahara. I'm on the monkey. Lucio is one.
That Lucio was one. Also, we didn't focus the Mercy, who was like rezzing there. That should be like Mercy should never get a ground res off against this goat's comp.
Fair on point. Fair. Nice. Wait, didn't die.
Sombra.
Do you guys frag out?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are pog.
Hug you. I'm slamming monkey. He's one.
Legends. Okay, cool. Nice. Well, good job. I mean, you guys played. You beat a comp that is literally designed to counter yours, so good job. I would just.
Hey, in contenders, that's what they're running to counter that.
What?
Or not contenders, an owl.
Their comp. What? The Farah Mercy?
The Pharaoh Sombra.
Oh yeah.
They're running the Sombra Moira.
Oh, you're saying
we're also
Moira.
not contenders players or
Moira,
not owl players.
That's actually something
It's
that I've
just-
been noticing too. They also use Moira against triple DPS. If you guys
Yeah.
ever feel like they're using spam damage comps against goats, use Moira, and the idea there is to play for the early coalescence. That becomes your win condition because you just use their spam damage against them.
Moira has also always had, like, out of the 3 ideal goats comps, the Anna Zen and Moira was always the pick that you played against 222 and stuff because she had the most just bulk healing for the team to just heal through spam damage. And then if they had bursts and isolated bursts on targets, then you played the Ana, and if it was goats, you played Zen because Zen goats is best. But
That was really unfortunate for them. Also,
But yeah, okay. So just to summarize, the big issues that I saw are, I mean, mostly related to your comm structure and like just the general responsibility structure, I guess, or however you want to talk about it, whoever's being assigned roles, or just the fact that maybe you guys don't have that yet. I think that's really hurting you guys because you can just tell by the conversation that we're having right now, right? It's like I'm telling you guys, like, focus fire is an issue. It's like we are kind of mispositioned there, and it's like, well, what do we really do about that? Like practically, how do we resolve that issue?
practice.
But what are you going to be doing in practice? All looking at each other and making sure you're moving together, or like having someone call where you're rotating?
I mean, when it comes to us being like just disjointed and being everywhere and not in one unified place, doing dry runs on maps will help that, and then just practicing that inside of actual compositions. Maybe just looking towards one person and just planting yourself behind that one person constantly will help. Instead of trying to look for everyone to try and unify everyone, we can look at one person and rally behind them.
Right. So I mean, basically, you're getting a de facto person to anchor your team's positioning. It's like, why not just have that person, in charge of where the team goes, where the team rotates, just so that you guys, don't
Fair.
have to be looking at each other. But that's kind of my point. That bottom line, it's gonna boil down to like you guys following or coordinating with each other, and you can't all be doing it with all of each other, right? Because practice helps, but there's always going to be curveballs that get thrown at you guys, and you're going to need to you're going to need to have to adapt and rotate as a unit.
What DPS do we want?
Are we gonna run triple deeps?
I don't know. I don't think so. It's like
just if you're trying out an off tank, let's not run triple leaps.
Let's just make it so we.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. That was the one thing that I was talking about. So that was general stuff. Other thing is just in goats, focus fire is definitely an issue that I'm seeing so far.
Pop up.
Speed us out.
You go left side. So okay, so you see, not this stairs, but the mega room, but a little bit before the mega room,
Okay, I like that. You guys are talking like initial pathing. That's really important.
Okay, we're going.
Yeah, we had a really good idea of how to play this map before, like where Orisa positions.
Okay.
We were also playing less coordinated teams then. That was back when we were playing against mainly Diamond.
I can't really block that.
Yeah, but I mean, it was still a pretty good spot, I think, what we did.
Okay, so your Hanzo gets
got caught
picked.
out.
Yeah.
I can't really block that. Can't block that.
There's like no ground targets for me except the tanks.
Yeah, so we had people pushing up pretty far here onto point, and then the Winston just rolled back over the top of you guys. And they just kind of went through, they just kind of like, we separated ourselves here and let them get value.
I can't really block that.
See, so we can see Orisa Shield is here.
Mhm.
If they're running a Farracomp and we know that they have dive tanks, I think you guys should probably be holding back more as a unit, and getting more shield value. And it's like you can hold back at that corner in that direction.
Yeah.
And just kind of like
I think
fight
we
out of
just
there.
didn't expect them to meet us so early, so he just threw the shield on point because he assumed we'd be able to get to point and just set up there.
Yeah, but I should like think ahead about where I use my shield because the cooldown's so
Exactly.
long.
Especially just main tanking in general, that's something you're going to want to be doing, is just sort of thinking, where's the fight going to wind up, even if you're not on Orisa.
It's hard, man. I'm sorry.
It's super hard. No, I feel for you.
I'm sitting the monkey.
And I think also your Pharah should be looking to concussion as early as possible if this is what they're running. You know, it's like you just want to get them off of you guys, so it's just, you know, try and look for a value concussion.
I don't really know where I could concussion here, like just the tanks to get away from us.
Yeah, just like, you know, put one here to try and send the Winston this way. Or you can just try and knock him off of high ground into your team if it's earlier in the fight and you haven't lost anybody. So it's like, you know, you put one up here to knock him down.
Yeah, and I think as soon as I see him jump in, I should be looking for that.
Exactly. Because like yeah, like as soon as he's out of his jump, like that's, you guys just, if someone should be looking for that and then call it out and just hard focus him, especially if you take him off high ground.
We're down 2.
It's lost.
Ours half. Just kidding.
We need to either counter dive or something else. Go create.
Almost killed that Winston.
Counter dive, I think, right?
Almost.
DPS and then I swap on P.
This here weak?
Why not Ash?
No, I said key. Jahara, quickly, please.
Got to be careful here about staggering yourselves, but it looks like they're not.
We have the Pharah. We have
Their monkey's just sitting close.
The Pharah's not consistently hitting air. Okay.
zoning.
Yeah, I don't think they're res. They're in a bubble.
Yeah, and this is part of the I mean, it's fine because now they don't have res. But this is, you know, I'm sure you guys understand. Like, it's like, you know, just we're not fully regrouped here, so we can't commit to anything.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's some value for sure.
Do you have Pharah? I mean, Pharah have left the fly?
I was gonna say, the one risk there is that you go in, try and punish the res, they get the res off, and then now you're out of position.
Indeed. I just didn't see the... I guess I didn't really think about her being able to res at the bottom because I forgot that Farah's body just falls to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I didn't even see that res coming.
Well, I think you were looking for it. You were watching
I
it.
knew she was
Yeah.
gonna try it, but I thought that the body would still be like in the air. So
I'm just gonna get my mic back.
What level team is this that you're playing against?
This is a 3.7.
Pretty coordinated for a 3.7 team.
yeah, they really are. I noticed that during this whole scrim, their tanks are really coordinated with their DPS and just the whole team in general.
That's a good team to be playing against.
Then you need to play for PL.
I wanna
Okay, so-
I want to play these games again.
Yeah.
These guys participate in the Expandable Open, I believe.
Oh,
What's
nice.
your name? What's your team name?
I have no clue.
Okay, so you guys get EMP'd. Okay, hold on. I need
It's
to listen
hard
to your
play
comms.
Farah into this.
Mono Tide Pods.
I don't know what their team name is. I just know I was friends with them from a tournament that we did. I think it was the first Expandable Open.
Okay, so we've gone into this fight with no real idea of what they have or what they're going to be using on us. We're just trying to get
Yeah.
out the door here. And so this happens with desync all the time. And what I tell them is, at this point, you can't expect anything other than just to get crapped on here because we're just walking in to let them use stuff on us.
Hiding.
They probably have
like
barrage on the left.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have someone saying they have EMP, they're going to drop it here. They also have barrage, most likely. You know, you guys probably are going to approach the point differently.
He was on a mech. I got Farah.
Surprising value from that barrage, given the fact that the Diva was like looking at you the whole time.
Yeah, I like 180 because I knew she was about to be in my face, but then I demeched her anyway, and I was like, might as well shoot the Pharaoh while I'm at it.
It was almost like she was like, you wouldn't.
Oh, Mercy weak.
Okay.
I don't even know.
Can we back that up?
Did you knock her into the pit?
Nope. He hit her midair.
Oh. That's
I
sick.
was just like, oh.
I think the monkey gave you the speed needed to get that
Yeah,
kill.
I like.
Oh.
The monkey that I got booped there.
That was sick.
Something about Wii playing this game in particular is extremely comical to me because nothing interesting happens to me.
Hack on the Lucio too. Feels bad, dude.
Okay, so this was just you guys getting. I mean, you guys are just uncoordinated here. I didn't really hear much of an idea of like sort of what you guys were gonna do. You know, it's like how are we actually gonna get them to open up and let us onto point? And I think that really hurts you guys, just because, you know, we kind of just like walked down main, like let's see what happens. And I would have liked to see a little bit more planning in terms of sort of like how you guys are going to deal with the ults that they drop onto you. Also, we had a lot of half pushes, like where you guys weren't fully grouped, and I think that just kind of extends the fight out more. And you know, it's not so much that it's a bad idea if you're playing it from no risk. It's just the idea, or what I'm sorry, even if you don't lose, it's not like that still doesn't necessarily mean it's good. The real problem is just that they're taking
Just the
so
time.
well that,
Like,
and
if
they're
they have
taking
a
so
caps.
little risk, and you're taking so much risk that the payoff is just way disproportionately not in your favor. The other thing is, especially if you're a tank doing this or someone with a relatively high HP pool, like if you get chunked because you're poking with them and your team is grouped up and ready to go, you have to wait now. And it delays your push and gives them an opportunity to just jump on you guys for free. And so that's another thing about poking that I would caution you guys about.
What? Knocked all of them off.
Are they just gonna run the same thing?
Bro.com.
So we just
Pick, maybe.
Not even 100% sure who that is.
Pretty sick. Okay, so what are you guys running here? Dive
Wanted
goats?
to do double sniper?
No.
Somebody.
So it's kind of like a semi-double sniper thingy.
Do we run this? I think Quig switches to Widow, no? Or thought he
I
did
do
eventually.
at some point.
Yeah, eventually, I guess.
I,
just not
I
at the start.
think it's. I don't think it's. I do it on runes though.
Oh.
So
I
can
don't
you guys give me an idea of what's the idea here with this composition? What's the goal here?
In putting it together, my thought process was like,
But can you just like hit play until the start? Because I'm not sure if this is the exact comp we run. We might switch up the healers or something.
Sure.
No, Felius goes Rhine and then says stay Diva.
I don't know why. My thought process was I wanted to try. I was getting blown up by their DPS anyway. Again, now that I realize like the reasons why aren't what I thought at the time.
Yeah, we're on Ryan. Sorry. I think
My thought
that's
process
gonna be
was like you send the diva to go fight the Pharah along with the Ash pressure, and my job as the tank is to just kind of like play slow and live and wait for Ash and Hanzo to kill everything.
Okay.
That was my thought process, but I don't think it was very wise to think that way.
Okay, so you're sensing that they're running a lot of like pharmacy comps, and so you're thinking, okay, well, we're gonna put snipers into our stuff and see sort of what we can do with them. This is a good map for it. And you're sort of thinking, okay, well, Diva provides maybe a little bit better support to our hit scans if we're getting super spammed by their comp. I get that. What about Moira here? Curious what we're, sort of what the thought process is for Moira. We're thinking just early coalescence farming. It makes sense on goats because you guys are so clustered together that you get value out of healing orb. But here you're running Diva and double snipers, and the whole point of running double snipers is that you guys cover different spaces with your sight lines. So
I really thought we weren't gonna run Rhine Diva.
I don't think that has anything to do with the question though.
But no, but like I expected a Ryan Zarya, and if you were to go dive, I would have gone on.
Yeah, I just didn't say swap to Mercy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what
I
do you guys
didn't-
think
I
about
didn't-
Mercy here?
It would be better than Moira, in my opinion. I just didn't say it.
Probably.
At
Okay,
the time,
so
I was like coming up with the comp, and I was like, go, 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 go. Like, get there.
do you guys have fixed compositions for every map?
Nope.
Do you have
Well,
somewhat fixed compositions for every map?
yeah. We definitely have a few like ideas for that we run every once in a while on like certain maps. Like I can't think of examples off the top of my head. We had a thing with like a few interesting sim strats that we would do on like Hanamura and what else? Freaking Anubis. I don't know. But that's all I can think of.
Okay. I would.
We have set defenses.
Okay. On
Yeah.
like payload maps and all
And
that.
like Hanamura and stuff here.
Okay. I would recommend trying to put in writing somewhere the compositions that you guys have on each map so that you can start to sort of like test iterations. For us, that's been super helpful because the idea is like, okay, well, we have a composition that we objectively think does well here, just given what we think the meta looks like right now, and what we expect to perform best in general. And then, you're always going to be changing it given sort of what the enemy team is playing. You guys are sort of doing that now. But the idea there is to sort of build on a first idea, and then you constantly just kind of let that evolve over time as the meta shifts. And that allows you guys to make small variations and keep the changes that are good and keep track of those things. Because honestly, if I'm like when the first team I coached, we didn't have something for that. And I was constantly just forgetting. Like, it's like, well, okay, well, we've been scrimming like 4 days this week, and we've done Ilios like 3 times, and we've done all these other maps, like, and then everything gets jumbled up in my mind. And you don't have the time to sit down and think, okay, well, here's the best comp for this map. Separate that out from all the other stuff. I have a tool that can help you guys with that. It's like just like a spreadsheet thing. And so it's like every sheet is a map, and then it has your comp on like all the points, attack, defense, all that stuff. If you guys are interested, I can send that your way after this.
Oh yeah.
But it's up to you guys. I mean, for me, it just helps me clarify my own thoughts, and I'm thinking, oh, we used to run Baptiste here. Like, what do we,
Yeah, they have Genji.
what do we want to change based on the past couple scrims?
Didn't you make something like that, Meme? Like a spreadsheet kind of thing with comps, like a long time ago?
I had one, yeah, but it was before Goats.
Monkey's on the right. True.
Like I had everything set for every map, pretty much, and I wrote comps for each point and attack and defense, but then Goats.
Widow's main half on the right.
So that all went to the ship.
So one thing, if Hanzo, you want to be putting Sonic Arrow on the Widow if you're not already trying to do that, just so that your Ashe can be, and as actually your whole team can just sort of be keeping an eye out. So what are they running? They're running Widow, and I don't know.
Widow
what
Genji
else.
dive.
Widow Genji, okay.
Yeah, they're down Widow. They don't
Ana Lucio.
Yeah, Ana Lucio.
Now that they have
Okay.
we can go dive if we want to, but I don't know. I think we stay away.
Also, I don't know if this is relevant, but I gotta leave here soon, so I'll just. Like,
I Widow Sonic in the back.
We'll probably be
Widow's
done
like-
at the
Widow's
hour
somewhere left
because
side.
I want to keep the video not too long so I can upload it to YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, I also I have it on my stream, so I can send that VOD to you guys.
Dope. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so first of all, okay, so before we go any further, then, do you guys want me to look at a different map?
yeah.
Watch the end of Legion. Smile.
Yeah. Let's watch. What? Who ran on Li Shang?
It was both the
Both the tryouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
not
yeah,
do that
that's
one.
right.
Let's
No, I
do.
just want him to compliment my nano timing.
And Felix just wants to comment on
There was
the
King's Row,
C9.
there was
Let's do
Bonnie.
King's Row because I believe we didn't run.
was
Numbani would be a
Ekenwald.
good one. First or offense
No,
Numbani.
not Nimbani. Not Nimbani. It's getting reworked.
It's not. He
Look,
lied to you. It was a joke, and it was an even. You fell for
Nimbani's
it.
literally.
It doesn't matter if Numbani's getting reworked. We're not looking at our map. We're looking at the team play.
Looking at our team play and our.
What about
combo and
Eichenwald? I think
Make a
we.
choice.
I think we
I can ult.
Go look at Eichenwald.
We ran.
Okay.
we kind of
Cool.
struggled
on
at
Eichenwald.
Eichenwald.
We
Yeah,
always
15
struggle on Eichenwald.
15 minutes of Eichenwald. That's
Okay.
fine.
Let me find it.
I think it was like the fourth
It
map.
is an hour. Wait, let me look and see exactly when it starts. An hour and 30 minutes. Wait, no,
Oh my
it's further than that.
god, I hate.
It's an hour and 48 minutes, and somewhere around there is when it starts.
I'm sorry. I cannot use QGG without complaining out loud.
No, I get it. I
Technology is
absolutely do.
impossible.
Okay.
I was a
Okay.
little annoyed when their COO messaged me. He's like, "You should try out a really cool product." I'm like, "It's fucked up." It's like we've patched it since then. I'm like, I've used it yesterday.
Okay. So we're attacking. We are running goats.
Saw that crazy ass fire
I like
strike.
Sorry's
Okay,
good.
so for my
Actually,
team,
I
usually
think
what I tell them to think about when they're coming out of spawn door is first of all, identify what matchup they're going into and play accordingly. Because you need to play goats on attack here
That's fine.
basically in
Okay, we're
two
running Tracer
ways.
Genji.
Well,
Uh,
not really.
let's
I
go
mean,
goats.
so it's a little bit different when you're dealing with goats. Like you kind of just have to play enemy position. But if they're running bunker, you have to take a specific route and you need to go in. If they're playing a spam comp with like Pharah Ash or Pharah McCree, you need to figure out how to play that too. If they run something spammy and slow, you need to just fucking run down their front line and rush them. Like just like I was saying on Ilios. On bunker, you need to take far right route because they're probably holding the house on top left, and you just bum rush them from behind.
Here comes number one mistake.
Okay, click comes over here.
Okay, so they are. It looks like goats.
Alright, I have bubble.
Okay, you're looking. Okay, their Rhine is sort of out of position.
Okay, bubble you.
Okay, so they use the projected barrier on their Rhine. You guys should be calling that.
I'm on the break.
Yeah, you guys should be punishing this Rhine because I think the Brig used E and I don't think they have bubble. When you guys are running goats, that's what you want to be looking for. At this level, it's all about mistakes. So you're looking for premature bubble usage and premature Brig armor pack usage because you slap a Discord on that target and it's gonna die instantly if you guys have either of those resources left. And the thing to keep in mind with goats is that if you have an HP lead, you can literally just stand there and trade damage and you'll win the fight.
On the break, break's weak. Okay, I'm on Ryan. I'm breaking his shield. Break. Nice, Diva.
Nice job.
Ball Euphilius.
It's okay.
Break it.
That was a whack
Zen.
charge.
Never mind.
A man
I'm good
shouted
now.
yeet and left shift into oblivion.
Where is he? Go. Nice,
Ken
Diva.
Oh, that was unnecessary.
Terrible.
Yeah. Oh,
Wait, did he charge in?
He charged
Yep.
the payload,
4.2K
yeah,
was
just got
getting
I can't see.
melted.
yeah, it happened so fast because he was like full HP, literally full HP here.
Nice, Diva.
Yeet, dead.
Oh, shit.
4.2K
Oh my.
skin
That's
for Ryan
how powerful Focus Fire is here.
and I feed,
Break it. Wait, Zen. Never mind. I'm getting out.
assuming that he doesn't do that.
Okay, I'm on the break.
Yeah, this is so unfortunate because you guys could have easily won this after you killed their Rhine if you just started sequentially moving on to targets.
Yep.
But left shift is enticing,
Oh my bad. I'm sorry. Where is he? Right side.
you know?
I
So
feel
if
you.
we wait, we're gonna bait their teammate bubble on the right, and then we W their.
Personally,
Oh.
against
Yeah.
Zen Goats, I never want to charge as a Rhine. I'm terrified of charging because I know I'm gonna take a right click to the face.
Toots, real quick, I accidentally clicked the button on the bottom and yoinked your controller, so you can have it
I
back.
can bubble you.
Oh,
Let's go left.
No, I was clicking buttons and then that happened.
got it. Thank you. Okay, so wait. Let's see what.
I can bubble you.
Let's go left.
Okay, so you're. This is a super early personal. Well, okay, so wait, you walked out in front, took damage. You're trying to build early charge. This is okay.
Yeah,
That's
bait
okay.
that- We're gonna bait that teammate bubble.
You got max value for it, so.
No, it's
I
fine.
can bubble you.
You want to cycle bubbles early.
I bubbled.
W Ryan.
Nice.
I'm on Ryan.
I'm in there. I don't have DM anymore.
Yeah, Diva's out of position.
Okay, I honestly I
That
like.
was pretty nutty.
Did I miss something? My dad called.
1 more minute, Dad.
I grabbed.
Oh,
No, I died.
Can we come back on this still? I got 2.
the target. Okay, so the target calling. I like what you guys were doing. You're looking for people who are out of position. That's really good. Keep doing that. Don't be afraid to change targets too. If something like, because you guys caught the brig, change Discord orb to her. Most important thing is just keeping Discord on the target that's being called. The reaction gravs are decent when you can keep them from touching you, because the idea there is that you cut the momentum out of their focus fire because it's goats and they need to be touching you. But when we counter grav like this, we put ourselves into a tricky position because chances are they had a positional advantage to begin with, and that's why they grabbed first. So when you're just trading and bringing them into the same space, it's not always the same as drawing even.
I grabbed. No, I died.
So just keep that in mind.
So like try and get the grab a little bit further away if possible.
I mean, ideally, when you guys know you both have grav, you should be looking like your team's highest priority should be to get the grav first. It's kind of like EMP, like when you have 2 EMPs, you want to get the EMP first.
Get the Ryan. Yeah.
Just because like that Zarya's grab becomes irrelevant once you hit your grav.
He was trying to jump off the map.
For the same reason that, we didn't get a ton of value out of the counter grab, but like, I mean, you guys got the combo off.
I moved him to the side.
I'm going monkey.
We got the swing
Yeah,
play.
I rarely see that.
Everybody used every single ult right there, by the way.
I think so, yeah.
I'm going Overwatch.
Yeah, you guys just kind of
a
outplayed
swing
them there.
assumes that they were winning in the first place, so Omega won.
But they
were. Were they?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you guys just
Now we see what we countergrabbed.
you used beat at the right time.
I used bubble. The Ryan's dropping.
Okay, this Ryan should be insta dead.
He should. Wait,
This is really unfortunate. That Ryan should have been.
A lot of what happened on this point is the brig just jumped off the high ground and walked at me, and nobody turned to help me. That was a lot of this point.
Yeah, there was a brig in our backline this whole game, and it was bad.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. Your team needs to like solidify the front line and respond to people walking through your team. Like, no one should ever be able to walk into your team for free. In fact, no one should be anywhere near your team for free. You should be able to kill anything. Any solo target that walks up to you guys.
But that's the hard part. We never do.
So I would definitely recommend. Oh, unlucky bubble.
Yeah. Twig's too fat.
Yeah. You might want to play with your sensitivity on Zarya there, for the bubble.
I think I have it on like 40, but Twig walked
Twig
directly in
does,
front of me.
I literally did walk directly
Oh yeah,
in front of
no,
there.
I know.
It's just unfortunate.
I'm a Zarya. I'm a reformed Zarya one trick, so I'm used to that happening.
Reformed.
I turned like all those kind of sensitivities to like 40-ish, like nano sensitivity and stuff like that.
We're here now.
Okay, this is fine.
No fire strike. That was good.
Insert dog.
I don't like striking anyways.
I'm on the Ryan.
Oh my fucking
I couldn't DM it. I have frost. I mean,
I can't help
That
it.
baby diva should have died, but I am big dumb.
I pinned. Oh.
You bubbled Brig here, I think?
I pinned.
Wait, who did we bubble?
I'm on the Ryan.
Oh my.
Bubble the Rhine going into this.
No, but we have
Or
bubble
the
here.
bomb, I think he hit Zed.
Okay,
He
know,
got Brig.
he got Brig.
I pinned. Oh.
So it's really important there that you put that on someone who doesn't have protection, and it's literally just your Lucio.
And he was behind the wall anyway, I think.
Yeah, I was.
He was. He's up to the left right there.
Right
So
here.
dumb.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like your Zen is trancing, your Brig has a shield, and unless your Rhine got shield bashed, you don't have to worry about him either. I mean, I guess it would just be Diva and Lucio's really the one you need to worry about.
So I can get cute.
Yeah,
So-
I couldn't have bubbled Lucio there. I think I just like figured that I'd bubble Twig in case he messed up his shield angle. I don't know.
My
I,
point
I think
is,
I was one of the few people in your line of sight there to bubble.
Yeah.
my point is you should be preemptively positioning so that you can get that bubble.
Also, Felius, can you pause it? That is the wrong mentality. You said, and I can just hit Q. Don't ult to remake.
No, I meant to hit Q as baby Diva. I know not to ult
Okay.
Remake. I've played Diva for years.
Yeah, just get out.
You're too late on that.
I want my charge, please.
Unlucky.
It's easy. Grab bomb. That was a break. Never mind.
Yo, was dying.
That sound.
I call it the pterodactyl, bro. Look out. I'm gonna be a scrum block near you.
Every time I see a Zarya self bubble a Rhine Fire Strike, I usually sit down and show the math of it, but I won't do that because we don't have time. But don't do that.
Basically, don't. Okay.
Don't what?
Don't do what?
Don't never bubble a Fire Strike.
Bubble just for a Fire Strike.
Because
Oh yeah.
by the time you get your bubble back, you're literally back at 0 energy.
Yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Diva on the left. Diva on the left. He's on him out.
Nice.
I'm on the Ryan. I can bubble in 2.
Nice. This is great.
Lucio.
Now, is it the attack you wanted me to look at, or is it the defense? Because we're running low on time.
Defense.
Well, they both.
Both of them were kind of ass.
Okay. I mean, Streets looks fine here.
That's a first.
No.
Well,
It's,
Okay,
It's
now
not
it doesn't
fine
look
here.
fine.
Yeah, this man.
If your Rhine's going up,
Going.
if your Rhine is going up, Zarya should be going up.
he didn't tell us anything.
Here's the thing. So,
But
You
watch,
see
you
how
need to
they're,
be
like-
going with him regardless. Like,
Yeah,
he shouldn't have to tell you.
he wanted to sneaky shatter. I'm assuming, and he just kind of charged in as they were coming out the door.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was sitting on cart, shielding on cart, and then hit shift later.
Still though, I mean, like your Rhine is gonna make misplays. People on your team are gonna make misplays. You need to adapt to it. And
No, I get you.
yeah, the play. Yeah, you just
I'm
need
saying
to have
that's why
Zarya
we
ready.
were out of position here. We were trying to follow through with him, but it was so last minute.
Man was a weird champ German man.
Break.
Okay, you lose your supports here. This is a reset. You guys shouldn't be extending this fight.
I'm trying to get out behind.
Okay, so what I want you guys to do when you're down in a goats matchup is go into them harder. A, you potentially bait out cooldowns. B, you are dealing a lot of damage and getting closer to your ults. And C, you're resetting even faster because they just literally have to deal with you or they're gonna die. And if
Okay.
they don't deal with you, you turn the fight back. But it's so much faster than backing out using cooldowns defensively and then just getting staggered.
I'm going castle. Going castle.
We do successfully get out and regroup.
Are we
but
good? Are we
yeah.
good?
Oh lord.
Oh, Ophelia's
Mission
gonna next, so that
impossible.
ain't good.
I don't see right now.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know how I died there.
your Lucio got back. Okay.
Grab.
Yeah, having Lucio definitely helps. And they should have won that last fight though. They should have kept pushing you guys.
I think they saw Ryan and just decided to back up.
We were just.
Wait.
Probably assumed he'd pressed left shift.
Byron.
Also, I used bubbles too early there. I should have saved them for the bomb grab combo.
hmm
Grab bomb.
If you know there's bomb grab, we just yeah save.
Yeah.
You also, I mean, really, if you don't have beat, you can't really expect to live through it anyways.
Really tend
Yeah.
to go for it, Twig, but
Unless
They
you
still
get
died,
mega
though.
lucky.
they
Oh,
still.
yes.
Unless you somehow have full shield to block it.
Oh, you're
and
saying, yeah,
go
you still
for
pushed
bubbles
it?
or something.
I can bubble you in just a second.
Yeah.
Ah, you're dead.
That.
Light trap, something.
Oh my god.
Unlucky, dude.
Oh my god.
It was the wall above the platform on high ground.
I got booped up now.
Yes, it was
How?
fucking- I'm sorry. I love you, Izzy. I'll hug you at lane.
Yeah, so
So
yeah.
go ahead.
I think the fact that we sort of like we lost our 2 supports on streets. It took us way too long to reset, and you just have to realize when they're going to use combo, you need to just, if you don't have beat, you need to bank on a recontest, and you need to make sure you have enough time for that. So plan backwards, like work backwards from how much time is remaining on the clock. Because I think that was really the only thing that hurt you guys. You just weren't keeping track of how much time was left, and you just weren't thinking about how many fights there was time left for.
Right. I 100% didn't realize that we were in the middle of last fight when we were walking back.
I
When
can
you're
tell.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm tempted to go for it," I would have told you to just go for it because we weren't touching in time
Yeah.
and they were dying.
Yeah, you guys need to to have someone calling last fight.
We'll work that
Right.
out. We should totally assign that next scrim. Smile.
It's a
So
really
why don't we end it there since it's
okay.
10 o'clock and it's the children's bedtimes.
Shut up, Twig.
Sounds good.
And I thank you so much for coming. If you do want to post that video that you had of the leadership or whatever,
Sure,
there's
yeah.
a channel that you can see that's educational content. That'd be a great place for it. And thank you so much
Except
for
it's
popping in and
misspelled.
doing this for us.
Sure, yeah.
Who the fuck misspelled it?
Educate.
Oh,
It's
is
been
That's
like
not
that
intentional?
literally since it was created. I
That's not
pointed it out
intentional?
a couple of times.
I figured that
Wait,
was
where?
intentional.
I figured
I-
it was original.
Educate.
No, don't change it.
Don't
Yeah, it's
Okay.
too it's too
I-
late.
Where's
It's
it?
I won't
perfect.
change it.
It's
Where's
perfect.
it?
I wonder if when I made it, the other people who could edit it at the time changed it because there were other captains involved when I was making these channels.
Wait, what
No,
channel?
you just
Where is
misspelled
it?
it.
Where is
Or I
it?
just misspelled it.
Oh,
I thought that was
yeah. As soon as the channel was created, look, I
Oh,
was
I
like,
see it, I see it.
educate Toino content, by the way.
I always thought you were just the mastermind, but in fact you had pee-pee brain.
Yep, PP brain.
Okay.
About,
thank you,
like,
too.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
to
of
it. I ended
course, of
my
course.
stream. I'm gonna upload that VOD to YouTube. Do you have a YouTube channel that you use?
Do I?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Okay, send it to me
Okay.
because
Sure.
I'm gonna link you in the description of it.
Oh, cool.
Because
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
make that public so that people can find that.
I need to start uploading
bro.
Overwatch stuff. God, my YouTube channel used to be a Minecraft thing. I used to do like tutorials and shit. Okay.
That's
yes,
great.
you could
No,
inspire
I
next
I
week.
decided that I do a lot of VOD reviews and coaching for night ops and like
It's a good
individual
place for
people
it.
who want it. So I'm just gonna start uploading those videos
That's a good
because I
idea.
need some kind of YouTube content.
Yeah,
So
I should do the same. All right. Have a good night, guys. I hope
Yeah,
this was
you too,
helpful.
man.
Please let me know if you need anything else in the future.
I'll hug you twice.
we'll do.
Oh, I can't
I'll
wait.
hug you 3 times.
Yes,
No,
5
Beasley,
hugs. Looking forward to
stop.
it. Okay, bye,
V8,
guys.
why would you take that?
Okay, I'm probably gonna be switching the stream over, but I'm gonna end the stream just so we get a clean VOD here. But thank you so much for watching. I hope this was instructive or helpful, and I will see you guys soon. I will be switching to Melee for any of you guys who are still interested in that. For those of you who aren't, I will see you soon. Take care. Have a good night.